morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday for me, but Wednesday for you. I just wanted to remind you, boys and girls, that we're nearing the end of school. We only have about another week and a half or so. I'm not quite sure. Report cards originally were supposed to be done by this coming Memorial Day weekend, but we might have some more leeway. But my thought to you is, if you can catch up on some of your scripture verses, if you can't do all 8 of them, if you can do some of the easy ones, and maybe even give me like 4 of them memorized, I can give you a grade, a decent letter grade. You won't get an A, but you won't fail it. Anywhere from a B- to a C+. Also the same thing for science and social studies. If you've done most of it, you can get an A- or a B+. Unfortunately, we have letter grades, A, B, C, D, and F. If it was a matter of just writing S for satisfactory and E for excellent, it wouldn't be so difficult. But since we've already established letter grades, we have to continue. But just keep up, don't worry about old work, just try to keep up with the work that I give you on a daily basis and see if you can get some of those spelling tests. Now, if you want to, you can have your mom give you the spelling test, and she can text Pam the list that you took the test on and the grade you got, and she'll tell me and I'll put it in the book. It doesn't have to be or you can take the test at your convenience and then show me your answers so that I can give you a grade. Remember, it's lists 27 through 30. Some of you haven't done that. And then of course the ones that I've taken from the handwriting book. You should have them because Pam has taken pictures of them. All right, now I'm not going to be giving you any more spelling tests, so that's it. This week's lesson is it, and that was from page 90. Let me just get that out to you to make sure. Okay, let me just find it. Okay, these are the last spelling words. Okay, make sure you do it. Make sure you go back to your spelling book and look at those lists 27 through 30. I've let you know which one of you have missed them. Pam has sent a text. All right, now, you will not have any more social studies or science. The last thing you're doing for science is, and I'm going to help you out here, is a comparison of Jamestown and Plymouth. And here are the pages that will help you. Remember, Jamestown was, I'm going to tell you, if you remember, was in Virginia. The Plymouth group was supposed to go to Virginia, but they went off track and they settled in Massachusetts, okay? And you could see that from the map. There is a map that shows you. Now, for number 2, it says why the settlers came. These are the page numbers that tell you who these settlers were and why they came to the New World. Then on the number 3, these are the pages that tell you who were the Indians. All right, remember the Indian princess in Jamestown and who her father was? And remember the Indians who helped the Pilgrims and had the first Thanksgiving? This is your last social studies assignment. If you do most of those assignments, you will get, especially if you did your Indian report, because the Indian report will give you a good grade. All right, so the last spelling, the last social studies, and this is also the last scripture verse that you have to know, okay? If you can do at least 4, you have about 8 scripture verses. If you can do at least 4 of them, you can get maybe a C+ or a B. If you've done all 8 of them, you get an A+. All right? You should have been doing this all along, okay? All right, so we know we're going to finish up the reading that we did yesterday, so everybody should have this. And let's go on to our reading. So from now on, the only work that you will have will be the reading workbook pages, some math workbook pages, and then phonics. And those things, you know, they're very, very easy. I want you also to check your work. Some of you have not been answering the questions carefully. So when you go to your computer or your iPad, take a look at the comments that I've made on this week's worksheets, because some of them need to be corrected, okay? All right, let's go back and let's find out what's happening in our story of Tiger Blaze. Remember, we have a young man, his name is Tim, and he has this stuffed animal, and I showed you my stuffed animal. And this stuffed animal, of course, is a mess. If you turn in your books, remember we're in the new book, to page 3, you'll see what he looks like. Page 3, you'll see what he looks like and why everybody wants to throw him away. Remember, his sister, Sarah, was cleaning the room, and she thought that this was kind of yucky. And what happens? But Tim retrieves it from the trash can. And then he puts it by the sink, and we have a picture of it by the sink, which you just saw. And his mother decides to retrieve it. And both times, Tim has a reason for keeping it. Do you remember the reasons? All right, the first reason was it reminded him of his friend Alex. And he gave Alex 6 bottle caps for this dirty old tiger. But you know what? It always reminds him of Alex. Then when his mother puts it in the garbage, she notices that there is a string around its neck. It's like a leash. And it's dirty and, you know, it's not doing anything worthwhile. But he thinks about his friend Reggie and how they played with the tiger as if he were a dog, and they walked him around, and every time he sees the string, he sees Reggie in his mind. All right, then we have in the last page before the next chapter, we find that he comes across his friend Marta, and he's going to go bike riding. And meantime, he has to take out the trash because the trash man is coming. And I expect the trash man today. Remember, today is my Tuesday and your Wednesday. Okay, now let's go to page 6. And it's called Missing Again. All right, what keeps happening to poor Tiger Blaze? Well, he keeps getting thrown in the trash. So, and why do people throw them away? Because he's dirty, he's missing an eye, he's ripped, and he doesn't look very fresh. Okay, now, again, why doesn't Tim want to get rid of Tiger? Because he has fond memories. Okay, let's look at this page and find out who is missing again. And who puts Tiger in the trash? And why? And tell me about how Tim knows where to look. Okay, you're going to find the word shrubs, short U sound. A shrub is a bush. You're going to find the word gently, soft G. And some of the other words would be dumped. Clippers, you know, clippers are what you use. They're scissors to clip the bushes. All right, start reading again and find out what happens to whom and why. Okay? All right. Okay, you should be finished reading. Okay. All right. What has happened to the father? What is he doing? What has the father been doing? That the father has been clipping the shrubs. And where has Tim put the tiger? Remember, he's going off with his friend bicycle riding, and he puts his tiger where? Do you remember where? Yes, on the picnic table. And who sees it? Okay, Dad sees it. And look what Dad is doing. Dad is pushing the trash can. Now remember, the trash can is already come, so it's empty. And he's got the tiger in his hands. And what do you think he's going to do? He's going to dump. He's going to dump that tiger into the trash can. Now, what happens when Tim comes back? Where does he park? Where does he park his bike? Yes, next to the picnic table. What does he see, or what does he not see? Tiger Blaze is gone. So, what does he do? Where does he look? Under the table, under the steps, and finally, where does he look? In the trash can. What does he do? Of course, he takes Tiger Blaze out very gently. And let's turn to page 7. And he asks, remember the last thing he said is, who? Who what? What does he mean? He means, who threw Tiger Blaze away? Okay, I want you to read that page and find out what happens now. Okay? Now, after you finish reading, let's find out. So, when he asks who, tell me who answers him. First, it's Sarah. And she says, not me. Now remember, he's holding up this Tiger Blaze who has been, the father put him in a dirty trash can. I mean, the trash can was empty, but it's still smelly because it said she was what? She was pinching her nose. What does the mom say? Not me. Also pinching her nose. And then who owns up to it? Dad. He said, I put it in the trash can. And he asked him, what? What does he ask him? Why did you take it out? And what does Tim say? Oh, I love this tiger. Dad? But it's dirty and ripped. Ah, we have another memory, another memory. And what is the memory? The memory is about Ashley. And what did Ashley do? Remember the rip that he has on his belly? Ashley ripped him when we scrambled under the fence. They were pretending that Tiger Blaze was running away from the zoo. Ah, said Dad. What else happened that time? Look what it says. It says you cut your arm, right? And you had to have stitches. Yeah? And he'll think of that too when he looks at the place. So now he has 3 people, plus the stitches that he got when he ripped his arm on the fence. Okay, let's turn to the next page. Look at the picture. Look at Tiger Blaze. Where is he? Ah, he's on the shelf, isn't he? Okay, how does he look? Oh, he looks clean, doesn't he? Look at his eyes. Look at his belly. He looks like he's been taken care of. Okay, and that's what happens on this page. Because Mom says what? She said, perhaps we can clean him up and repair him. What does Tim say? Oh, I like the way he looks, but I just don't like the way he smells. So what does Mom says? We can wash him. We need to pick out what? A safe home. A safe home? Okay, why? And what does Dad say? Read that last paragraph. Any tiger looking like the one that needs to be put in a place where no one will throw him away, I will make a shelf for him. So this way, if we put him on a shelf, then no one will think of throwing him away, and I'm going to make that shelf. So that's Dad's suggestion. And let's look at the last page. Now, Mom did fix and wash Tiger, and Dad made a shelf. Okay, what does Dad do? He tells you he hung the shelf and he set Tiger Blaze on it. So now what's going to happen if Tiger Blaze is found someplace else in the house? Yeah, they're going to know where to put him. He's going to have a safe home. Okay, that was a neat story. Okay, I want you to take a look at page 141 and do that exercise. Okay? For reading. Now, boys and girls, these reading assignments should not take you long. It just takes a few minutes, but you must read the directions carefully. Some of you are not putting the events in the right order. Please check your previous homework.